Good morning, Texoma. I'm Ashley Fitzwater. This morning, we're taking an inside look at Crimestoppers in Wichita Falls and truly the difference this program has made since it started back in 1981. And it's pretty surprising. Just looking at drugs alone, $26 million worth are actually off the streets, all thanks to this program that couldn't be done without you. Officer Robert Woodruff with the police department is joining us now, and $26 million worth of drugs. That's a lot of drugs and a lot of money.
It is a lot of money, and we've been in existence since 1981. That's when the Crimestoppers program first started in Wichita Falls, and it's 32 years.
Wow.
And $26 million in street value of narcotics has been removed from the streets of Wichita Falls. So it's been very helpful. And if you're interested in other numbers, we've actually recovered $4.8 million in stolen property. So that's property that's been taken from someone, and we've been able to recover that and return that property back to its rightful owners.
Wow, that's great.
And then we've paid over $947,000 in the rewards that we've paid since 1981. So, I would say probably not this year, but next year we'll probably hit $1 million.
Just taking a look at that number, it proves that Crimestoppers is making a dent. Coming full circle, in case you're just really not clear on what Crimestoppers is, basically the community is helping officers fight crime, right?
Right, that's what it's all about. When it was developed, it was to give the citizens an avenue to speak with the police, if it's through the media or through whatever outlet. We've got the internet now that we're using. So in order for them to report a crime, and without them being any fear against them to being retaliated against. So it's anonymous.
Yeah.
Of course, they have to speak to us. We not interested in any personal information about them. Sometimes they give it to us, but we don't ask for it. And it just opens up a door for communication between the police and the citizens.
And I guess ultimately that protects them in case there's a trial ever as well, correct?
Right. They would never have to go to a trial. That information is sealed, and the law says that information can't be used in a court. The only person that can actually see that information is the judge. The prosecutor can't see it, or a defense lawyer can't see it. It doesn't mean that I couldn't be subpoenaed to go to court, but I have the same protection. So that would never happen.
And that's an encouragement, when you say for people to come forward.
Yeah, it takes the fear away from it, and that's what the whole program is about. Is to give someone the opportunity to call the police without having to give their information. Not their name, birth date, telephone numbers, where they live, the stuff that police normally ask you. We're not going to ask you that. We're just going to see what you had to say, and if it's something that we can use, then we'll use it, and we'll take that information and do something positive with it.
What kind of things is Crimestoppers used for? I mean, do you want people to call about maybe the things some of us may consider small, all the way up to information about a murder? Well,
that's the funny part about my job. I get all types of phone calls. If you want to know what the program is about, we're about felony offenses. People are only going to get rewarded with a cash reward if it's a felony offense. But people call us about all types of things. I mean, if they got a problem with their teenagers, they call. I mean, you just never know. And that's one of the interesting things about my job, is that you never know what's going to be on the other end of the phone call. But for the most part, we're looking for any type of felony offense, which is going to be your robberies and your burglaries and your narcotics and homicides, aggravated assaults, sexual assaults, crimes against children, the things that have either a state jail felony or up to a capital offense.
Now, in case people just aren't sure, hey, I don't know what a felony is, and you did great, you named some of those for us, but what do you do? What if you catch someone, you see someone breaking in a home, then obviously that would go back to the burglary or the robbery, like you were saying.
That would be a felony.
Or breaking into a car, or even maybe stealing a bunch of things at the store. How do you, know when it's time to call Crimestoppers and report that?
Well, my opinion on that would be the call regardless. I mean, if you don't know and you're not sure, then go ahead and call us, because I'll be more than happy to tell you what kind of offense we have here, if it's something that is a felony or not. But sometimes you brought up a burglary of a vehicle. In most cases that's a misdemeanor, unless there's a lot of property stolen that bumps the charge up to a felony. But the thing is, if you know someone who's done that, more than likely they've probably done it already in the past.
Sure.
And it could be an open case, and you can have cases stacked up against someone, which just helps the police.
Sure. So regardless whether you come home with an award at the end of the day or whatever, you're basically still helping out, is what you're saying.
Right. And we do have people that call and do not want the reward. They just want to help and give us some information. There are people that do that.
That speaks a lot then about the people of Texoma as well, and ultimately
Absolutely.
what the goal of this program is all about. Now, would you say things would be different and maybe certain people wouldn't be behind bars, cases would still be open today if this program wasn't around?
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely. I've, in my 3 years in Crimestoppers, I've personally seen an offense that just happened that day. It could be a murder, it could be a sexual assault, it could be a robbery, and it's just happened. And within an hour or two, we've gotten phone calls, and the suspects are in custody and they're in jail.
Wow.
So it does it happens quite frequently, actually. That's something that doesn't get into the news a whole lot, because we are supposed to be anonymous.
Sure.
But that's okay. We just do what we have to do.
What is the importance for people at home if they're listening and maybe they know something already about a particular felony?
Right.
Why is it so important for them to let you know?
Well, I just think it's the right thing to do, for one thing. You're going to help someone else hopefully not become a victim. You could be preventing yourself from becoming a victim. It just comes down to what's morally right to do. If you don't have information about someone or something that's going on that's against the law and isn't right, then you should call us. You're going to be protected, so you don't have anything to lose.
Yeah.
You've got everything to gain. So I would say that.
That's a great point. So something to think about. We need to take a quick break. How these rewards are handed out, how it all comes together. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with much more. Welcome back to Inside Texoma. Once again, we're talking about Crimestoppers in Wichita Falls. Something else that's interesting, it's also helped bring to light some things, maybe even to police, that weren't even on the radar.
I would say a lot of our narcotics calls are that way. The majority of the calls that we receive are about narcotics. So a lot of the information that we get, when we take down to our narcotics department, it's all brand new to them.
Yeah.
Sometimes they might be familiar with some of the names.
Sure.
But a lot of times the locations that we give are new, and they're able to do the things that they do in order to get warrants or to try to make an arrest on it. But we've had lots of opportunities to do that. I can think of an example that we got some information on just this year of a place out in the county that was making meth. It was actually underground, like a bunker.
Wow. And
we talked to the informant, got all the information on it. They talked to our narcotics people, and then narcotics got with DPS and the sheriff's department, and they actually went out there and did an investigation, and they received over $100,000 worth of meth off the street in that one instance.
Wow. And
it was, that doesn't happen every day.
No.
But when it does, it's pretty exciting.
Does that just make it all worth it? I mean, all the long hours and the phone calls and, you know, taking all the different things that you come into your office every day.
Well, yeah, I mean, it makes you happy. It's a success.
Sure.
And, yeah, unlike most people, I don't like narcotics on the streets in Wichita Falls. I have a 7-year-old.
Yeah.
I don't want that stuff around my kid. So any opportunity that we get to help get that off the street, it makes me happy for all types of reasons, you know, both professional and personal.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you tell us some other examples of how Crimestoppers has helped maybe solve a case or be that missing link that the officers needed?
Well, one that comes to mind that's been in the media in the past was a quick and easy pawn shop that was robbed on Kemp Street.
Yes.
Where the suspect and the owner got into a confrontation actually with weapons. And Uranga was caught a couple days later, and some of the information that detectives received was actually that came through Crimestoppers. So, you know, he's already been convicted and he's in prison. So that one worked out well for everybody too.
Could have been a dangerous situation if maybe that missing link, you know, didn't land.
Yeah. Well, if he would have been out doing it again, because that was his only time.
Wow.
So, you know, he would have continued to do what he was doing. So.
All thanks to Crimestoppers, really, and that was the missing piece you're saying.
It was
one of the tools.
It wasn't the piece, but it was one of the pieces that allowed the detectives to get the warrant that was needed for to get him in custody.
Yeah. Wow. Well, we love hearing, of course, all these stories of how Texoma has really made this all come full circle as well. Something else, though, they are rewarded, we mentioned, for calling in and giving that information.
We're at over $927,000.
Wow.
And that's since 1981. That money is money that's been raised through fundraising through our board for Crimestoppers, our board of directors. So we're not getting that money from the state, or it's not coming from taxes. You know, we're a nonprofit organization, and every dollar that we give out we've gotten through fundraising.
Wow. And so the board is made up of civilians, correct? And what is their primary focus? Well,
we meet every second Tuesday of every month, and the purpose of the meeting is to vote on rewards. So I present the rewards to the board, and we talk about the particular cases, what the information was that we received, where that information was sent, and then if that information was used to make an arrest. And then all the little details on how much narcotics, if it's a narcotics case, how many people were arrested, you know, was there any stolen property recovered. You know, there's a list that we go down. And if it's a state jail felony or if it was a first degree felony, it's really good. It's going to determine how much the informant's going to get. And it could be anywhere from $200 up to $1,000.
Hey, every little bit helps, though. But that's quite a bit, though, too, just for
making a phone call.
Absolutely. Now, is their name still kept secret throughout this all, or whenever they're rewarded? How does that happen? How do they, you know, actually receive the reward?
Okay. Well, we actually give them an ID number.
Oh, okay.
They have it, and I have it. That's it. No one else has it. So that's how I identify who each individual person is.
Okay. It really is kept anonymous, though. I mean, I think that's the point. You know, you really want to drive home.
We don't ask what your name is. Now, that doesn't mean some people don't tell us.
Sure.
Because you actually build a relationship with some of these informants because they're around a long time. And they call you a lot. Can't help but build a relationship with them. But no, we don't ask any personal information.
That's definitely something to note. Now, whenever you meet, how often are those rewards? Is it once a month, once a year? Is that money, you know, then passed along to those who called in?
We pay once a month.
Okay.
So the Tuesday that we have our meeting, the board votes on them, and they okay it, and then we get back to the station, and then the informants know to start calling us, and then we tell them how they're going to get their money at that point.
Okay. How many people will you have? Does it vary month to month, or?
Every month is different. If I was going to put an average on it, I would probably say we pay about 12.
Wow.
And we usually pay anywhere from $5,000 to $6,000 a month.
Wow.
And I know last year we paid out $54,000 in reward money, which was our biggest year. Every once in a while we'll have a slow month. I don't know why, but sometimes it's just slow, and then sometimes it's really crazy. You just never know.
Well, you're right. It is definitely interesting to hear the other side of it, because so often, of course, we give you that number to call, that 322-9888. You never have to give your name, of course, and pass along that information. But it's really interesting to know that so many people are stepping up to do that. So if you have information, Texoma, you could definitely be the next person and even be rewarded for it. But most importantly, like you mentioned, really just helping to do the right thing.
Right.
We still have much more to get to, so don't go anywhere. Texoma will be right back after this.